Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be starting with the session in next 5 to 10 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise in the honor of national anthem. We'll start the day with a few verses of the Holy Quran.
إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد.
I will now request President Johar to present his opening remarks.
Honorable Chief Guest, Minister of State for Interfaith Harmony and Religious Affairs, distinguished panelists, members of the diplomatic community, scholars, colleagues, media representatives, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning. I'm sure many of you slept very late last night, if at all, because of what has happened. It's very unfortunate, the extreme provocation and actually the aggression that committed by India, which is a clear violation of Article 51 of the United Nations Charter and international law on conducting of bilateral relations between countries. But as you know, Pakistan has given a befitting response, which is all over the newspapers. I don't have to mention that to you. You all know that. But like a lot of countries in the world, including the US, China, other important countries, we hope that India exercises restraints and doesn't start a ladder of escalation that gets out of control. Just 2 days ago, in a program on some television channel, I was invited to Fahad Hussein's show, and there I had made this prediction that India, which seemed at that time contrary to the popular belief, that India would not take into consideration the persuasion of the international community and is likely to test Pakistan. I had exactly said these words. And unfortunately, that is what has happened. But if the objective was to test our resolve and our capability, then, and I hope, we all hope, that it deters them from further aggression. Forget that. He was blacklisted because of that, even for a US visa. And not just for a US visa, visas for by many countries because of his human rights record. and in the area of this, interfaith sort of um, chasm. Um, so now, in this session, we have some great speakers. Some of them have joined us from farthest corners of the world, you can say, from the US. We were going to have another speaker who couldn't make it because the flights, as you know, have been sort of cancelled, flights to Pakistan. We have the state minister, of course, we have Ms. Rajkumari and Provincial Minister Ramesh Singh Arora would be joining us. So we have a wonderful panel which represents multiple faiths, and those faiths which comprise the mosaic, the beautiful mosaic that we have, the fabric of our society. And we're proud of our minorities. So I'm very looking forward to moderating today's session, and like you, to sharing my ideas, and of course listening to our very eminent speakers. And we look forward to a very insightful, very illuminating, and very sort of accommodative debate, because while we should be confident in professing our ideas, we should be generous in listening to ideas that may not match ours. So with these few words, I thank you all for being here on this third day of the conference, which we had themed Pathways to Peace and Prosperity in Turbulent Times. But quite frankly, when we came up with this theme, that was some months ago, we didn't know that the times would become so turbulent. They are much more turbulent than we had anticipated. But that makes the main theme of this conference even more important. So thank you all. And I would now like to invite the Minister of State, who's gracing the occasion, to share his thoughts on the subject. Thank you.
ख़वातीन हज़रात, मोअज़्ज़ज़ मेहमान गिरामी, प्यारे पाकिस्तानियों, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, सत श्री अकाल, नमस्ते, गुड मॉर्निंग। पहले तो मैं भारत की जानिब से जो रात को जारियत की गई है, हमारे सिविलियन पे जो अटैक किया गया है, मैं एक पाकिस्तानी, एक हिंदू पाकिस्तानी उसकी मजम्मत करता हूँ। और ये जो इंटरनेशनल वायलेशन भी की गई है और जिस तरह बुज़दिलाना हमला किया है, और हम उसका जवाब दे रहे हैं और मज़ीद भी देंगे इंशाल्लाह। और पूरी कौम उसका हौसला बुलंद है और अपने अफ़वाज के साथ खड़ी है। पाकिस्तान के तमाम हिंदू, मसीह, सिख, पारसी, तमाम अक़लियतें और अक्सरियत मुसलमान एक कौम होकर हम इस जारियत का मुकाबला करेंगे। और सिर्फ सरहदों पे नहीं, हवाओं में नहीं, समंदर में नहीं, मगर पाकिस्तान मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ साहब, डिप्टी वजीर आजम वजीर खारजा इसहाक डार साहब, वजीर दिफा मोहम्मद ख्वाजा आसिफ साहब, इत्तलात के वजीर अता तारड़ साहब और हमारे फखर सिपाही सालार जनरल हाफिज आसम मुनीर साहब को खराज तहसीन पेश करता हूँ। जिस तरह जी मुआज पे हमने भारत को दी है और हमारे मुल्क को इन किया और द ट्रम्प की जानब से भी उसके
invite Mr. Kelly Johnson, representing the Church of Latter-day Saints, who has come all the way from the US to join this August proceeding. Mr. Kelly Johnson, the floor is yours, please.
Advancer. It is an honor for me to be here today, and I thank each person involved for the invitation to come and join. I first express my condolences and sorrow for the events that occurred last evening. The acts of violence and death are just sorrowful, and I hope that a peaceful resolution can be reached soon. I have been to Pakistan many times. In fact, over the last 2 years, I've been here 15 times. And I love coming to Pakistan. I have dear friends here, and I love the culture. I love the people, and I love the experiences that I have each time I come to Pakistan. And so it's good to be here again. And today, I hope that as I share some thoughts with you, my hope is that we can understand that people of faith, regardless of what our specific religion is, need to stand together with our common values and make good things happen in the world, rather than focus on our differences and lose focus on those things that matter most. My particular topic today is okay, thank you. Is the need for strong families to instill moral and ethical values in children, grounded in religious belief and a shared sense of duty to God and community. For as long as I can remember, I have been familiar with a simple but challenging quote. This quote is, "No success can compensate for failure in the home." This statement was made by David O. McKay, who was a church leader, and he added to the statement originally made by J.E. McCullough to the end of the following longer statement. He said, "The home is the first and most effective place to learn the lessons of life, truth, honor, virtue, self-control, the value of education, honest work, and the purpose and privilege of life. Nothing can take the place of home in rearing and teaching children, and no other success can compensate for failure in the home." I realize that in today's world, there are many distractions, declining civility, there's war, and there are violence, disease, and turmoil. And our home lives, we are seeing, are no longer what they were even just a decade ago. I imagine that when David O. McKay made this bold proclamation to the world many years ago, he was not aware that in 2025, we would have Netflix and iPhones and social media and TikTok and memes and other forms of distraction. we have to be real and realize that we have serious problems, including the ever-increasing aspect of family decline, violence, abuse in homes, and other things that cause us to lose focus on our family lives. I would like to revisit with you just briefly two parts of this particular statement. I want to start with the first part. The home is the first and most effective place to learn the lessons of life: truth, honor, virtue, self-control, the value of education, honest work, and the purpose and privilege of life. As stated, there's no better place for children to learn the values and the lessons of life than in the home. Now, sure, these lessons can be taught in our educational institutions and perhaps in the workforce and on social networks, but I propose that these alternative locations do not provide the same source of benefit that the home does. The home is the place where families can share each other's burdens and build each other up. The second part of this quote is nothing can take the place of home in rearing and teaching children, and no other success can compensate for failure in the home. No matter what your view may be on what constitutes a family, I think that each of us logically sees the truth of this statement, that our home is the ideal institution for raising children and preparing them to find meaning in this complex world. In today's popular world culture and views, much attention is placed on saving the environment and correcting social and economic injustices. And these are good things that have to be focused on. And I'm not downplaying those by any means, but we also have to realize that our ability to immediately make changes and change the trajectory of society is found within the home. And we can do that easier than we can change world issues, change governments, and change policies, procedures, and laws. For some people, success in the workforce is something that they focus on, or social setting success is something that's focused on. Oftentimes, such aspirations get in the way of actually doing the things that we need to do in the home. The importance of the family is really undisputable. And the fact is that the family is one of the most important institutions found in all societies across the world, including Pakistan. And the family is the fundamental institution that has existed throughout all time. From a religious standpoint, one of the things that we need to realize that we find common beliefs relative to the family in different religions. For instance, from a religious standpoint, Muslims and members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that the family is fundamental, the fundamental unit of society and an essential source of joy. From the moment that we are born, we open our eyes and we're nurtured and fed and taken care of by our parents and our families. And our family provides us great identity and support. The family has a crucial role in building our nations, and therefore parents invest nearly all of their time and their money and their resources to raising their children. And we thank our wonderful parents for doing that. Most problems with individuals and societies either begin or end up in the family. Now, both Muslims and members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints believe that marriage is a sacred covenant before God. Muslims believe that, as stated here, that marriage is a sacred covenant before God. Husbands and wives should work together in providing for their children, teaching righteousness and showing love. Children have a duty to respect honor and love their parents and other family members. The home should be a place of unity and safety. And Muslims believe that parents are responsible for raising God-fearing children, family members, if righteous, can be together in paradise after the resurrection. Maintaining strong family ties is an obligation from which one derives happiness. And the Holy Quran states, "O Lord, grant us that our spouses and our offspring be the joy to our eyes." On the Latter-day Saint side of beliefs, we believe that the family is central to God's plan of salvation for all human beings. Family relationships can continue beyond the grave. Covenants made in holy temples unite families for eternity. Children are an heritage unto the Lord, a source of joy in this life and in the world to come. These common religious beliefs should allow the interfaith religious efforts to reinforce the significance of families and parents and the importance of keeping proper focus on these important concepts. You may have heard or read about the devastating fires that burned in the state of California in the United States a few months ago. These fires were disastrous, and they burned and destroyed many different things. The fires could not be contained for a significant amount of time. And what ultimately happened, communities were actually burned and devastated because of these fires. Now, there was something interesting that began to be noticed within each of these particular areas. What was found is that there began to be some structures that were not damaged by the fires. And the media, as they grabbed onto these, they began to call these particular structures miracle houses. You'll see from this particular picture here, on the left side of the home, everything is burned and destroyed. And then everything on the right side of the home, everything is burned and destroyed. But standing in the middle, undamaged by the fire, was a home. And there were several of these, and these were called miracle houses. And as these homes were made by the owners long before the fires ever occurred to protect their homes. The owners had cleared bushes and trees and plants away from the side of the home so there would not be fuel for the fire to burn. They had also covered the exterior of their homes in fireproof materials. And so when the fire actually came, the homes were protected because they had prepared their homes. I would just like to briefly use this analogy to set the stage to discuss a couple of quick things. First, in the context of the family, what do the destructive fires represent? And second, what preparations can be made in order to avoid the destruction that would otherwise be caused by these fires? Well, the fires attacking and destroying the family include urbanization, urbanization, evolving gender roles, individual aspirations, modernizations, globalization, advancements in technology, economic pressures, and then ultimately materialistic goals. These things can be good, but they can also be a distraction and ultimately be a fire, if you will, that can destroy and cause problems with our families. You think about the advancements in technology and the challenges that many face because of social media, because of distractions, and because of things that cause individuals to lose focus, perhaps, on things that matter most. We have to guard against these particular things. And so how do we prepare? ourselves and our families to be able to handle the fires that are out there, our families. Well, as we think about the fires attacking and devastating the family, these words from the Holy Quran have even more meaning. The Holy Quran warns believers to safeguard their families from fire. It says, "O you who believe, protect yourselves and your families from a fire." What an amazing statement as we think about the fires that are impacting our families. In the Christian context, the Apostle Paul foresaw our circumstances when he said, "In the last day, perilous times will come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, despisers of those that are good, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God." And then he concluded, "From such turn away." Well, all major religions have given us principles that remain profoundly applicable in modern times to live an enlightened family life. These principles include mutual love among family members, sacrifice for each other, peace through compromise and ethical behavior in dealing with day-to-day affairs. One of the things that needs to be instilled in our families is respect that children have for seniors and for parents and for elders. Again, I go to the I go to another statement from the Holy Quran that says, "For your Lord hath decreed that you worship none but him and honor your parents. If one or both of them reach old age in your care, never say to them even nor yell at them. Rather, address them respectfully." Again, on the Christian side, we have what are called the Ten Commandments. And the commandment that we have is that we are to honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Well, there are many things that we can do as we work together. I want to share with you a statement that was made by leaders of our church a few years ago addressing the fires that were facing families. There was a proclamation that was issued, a proclamation on the family, and the following statement was included. "Successful marriages and families are established and maintained on principles of faith, prayer, repentance, forgiveness, respect, love, compassion, work, and wholesome recreational activities. By divine design, fathers are to preside over their families in love and righteousness, and are responsible to provide the necessities of life and protection for their families. Mothers are primarily responsible for the nurture of their children. In these sacred responsibilities, fathers and mothers are obligated to help one another as equal partners." Well, in conclusion, I just want to emphasize that we must work together to protect our families from the fires that are burning and are intent on destroying our families. We can do that by preparing and creating miracle houses where our homes are prepared to withstand the challenges that they will surely face. People of faith, regardless of their specific religion, must stand together. As we do, the world will be a better place. I personally follow the instruction given in the Quran, which teaches that rather than competing with each other regarding doctrine of our religions, the Quran says to compete with each other in righteousness. Let's work together with our common beliefs regarding the family and its importance in our society, and work together in righteousness to make beautiful things happen. Thank you.
Beautiful words indeed. I think family values, that is one commonality that we have, all faiths, all Abrahamic faiths in particular, and other faiths as well, of course, like amongst our Hindu brothers and Sikh brothers and of course Christians. And Mr. Kelly Johnson focusing on that and showing how we need to protect our family values. And as he said, and of course, quoting from the divine texts from different faiths, that we have to protect our families from fire. And that fire it's a symbol. That fire is a symbol of evil, for instance. It's a symbol. These days, we all know what new challenges are emerging in terms of protecting families. In Pakistan, we have a very close we have very close-knit families in Pakistan. And I think these words that Mr. Johnson shared, they would really go a long way in further strengthening our resolve to focus on our families, to ensure that they are provided for, and not just provided for in terms of physical things, but in terms of education, and they are protected from the evils, especially in this time of social media, when kids and families are exposed to so much. So they really need to be protected. Thank you. And before that, of course, Minister Kesumal, he shared some wonderful thoughts, how our Hindu brothers in Pakistan, they share the concern of Indian aggression as much or even more than, what we feel. And the very categorical statement that he made that for such blatant aggressions, the Hindus of Pakistan, and Pakistan is a mosaic. We have, of course, Hindu brothers, we have Sikh brothers, Christian brothers and sisters. And we all are together as a nation whenever a hostile nation attacks our physical infrastructure, or our territorial integrity, or our sovereignty, or even our moral values. And we stand together today, and we will always stand together. With these words, I would now like to invite Minister Ramesh Singh Arora, who has joined us. And he's always he's been interacting with Institute of Regional Studies very often. I got a chance to know him personally very well, and I'm always impressed by the thoughts and the emotions that he shares. Minister Arora, the floor is yours, please.
I would like to request you to present the State Minister with the memento.
I think he left already, so we'll probably have it.
Thank you very much, Ambassador, for holding such a wonderful event. And I can see people from different spread, different faiths. And first of all, before I start, let me condole with the families who lost their loved ones last night. And I strongly condemn the brutal attack done by the Indian forces on the innocent people of Pakistan. And for the last couple of days, there's a very strong statement from people of Pakistan that we are the one who always talk about the peace, and we strongly want that peace should prevail in this region. But unfortunately, the aggression coming from the Indian side is condemnable, as well as So like last night, they attacked on different cities of Pakistan and they killed the innocent people of Pakistan. So we strongly condemn it. And my feelings, my sympathies, my condolences is with the people who lost their loved ones. Thank you very much. So Ambassador pertinently coming back to your question. Ladies and gentlemen, see, Pakistan is a very diverse country, and it consists of different ethnicities, religions, backgrounds. And when we talk about the Pakistan and the Sikhism, so beginning of the Sikhism is from the Pakistan, and there's a very strong bonding of Sikhs with the Pakistan. Because the first Sikh master, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, who born in Nankana Sahib in 1469, he spent majority of his time within this region. He had 4 major journeys throughout of his life. He went to different parts of at that time, subcontinent. He went to Iraq, he went to Baghdad, he went to Tibet, China, he went to Makkah, he went to Afghanistan, and so many other places. But after every journey, he came back to Pakistan. Twice, he came back to Kartarpur, which is the burial place of Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And the opening of Kartarpur corridor, you can say from a big heart from people of Pakistan. You know, between Pakistan and India, there's always a tension between Pakistan. And there's always an aggression from the Indian side whenever it comes to Pakistan. But Pakistan opened up its heart in 2019 and opened the Kartarpur corridor. And you know why Kartarpur is important for the Sikhism? Because Kartarpur is a place which is a burial place of the Sikh master Guru Nanak Dev Ji. And because Guru Nanak Dev Ji, throughout of his life, there are 3 pillars of his of the messages, and these 3 pillars are not only for the Sikhism, are followers who are following the teachings of Guru Nanak Dev Ji. Basically, these 3 messages are for everyone. The first message he gave to this universe is the meditation. Like, remember the force who created this universe. And the second message, which is the beauty of this religion, is earn your livelihood through the right means. So whosoever you are, whatever your faith is, whatever your ethnicity is, so go and earn your livelihood. And the third message, which is the beauty of the Sikhism is whatever you earn. So you want me to go there? Oh, I thought okay.
तो पहले दसना सी ना यार. Sorry, yesterday someone told me that whenever we go and speak, say some words in Punjabi. That's why, because I am here to promote Punjabi as well. So that's why I said some words in Punjabi. Okay. So should I say it again, or you want me to continue from here? Okay. Okay. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji's third message was the sharing, and which is the beauty of this religion. So whatever you earn, spread it, share it with your peers who are from the vulnerable strata of the society, who do not have access to finance, who are the marginal strata of the society. That is the beauty of Pakistan. So in 2019, the government of Pakistan decided to open this Kartarpur corridor for the Indian people. Let me tell you where this Kartarpur is situated right now. It is right now in Narowal, which is a district of Punjab. It's hardly 4 kilometers away from the Indian border. Since 1947, when the partition happened in Pakistan, was founded in 1947, 14th of August, so majority of the people from Sikh faith migrated from this Punjab to the Indian Punjab. But their heart is still with this Punjab. Because whenever they pray 2 times in a day, every time they would pray, "Oh God, oh Lord, give me an opportunity to go to Pakistan, to visit Nankana Sahib, to visit Panja Sahib, to visit Kartarpur Sahib, which is a sacred place for me." So it means whenever we would talk about the Pakistan and Sikh relation, that bonding is very much strong. That's why in the recent days, when we saw there's a tension going on between the India and Pakistan, we heard so many newses, we heard so many messages from the Sikh community. Either they are residing in the Canada, either they are residing in the UK, either they are residing in the US, or they are residing in India, and they wanted to have a peace between these two nations. And every message was coming that we would support Pakistan's peace process, and we would support Pakistan's peace dialogue, and we would support Pakistan's message of peace, because whenever we go to Pakistan, we come with good feelings, we come with the good experience. And let me tell you, because being a president of Pakistan Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, so this April was a day when we had a Baisakhi in Pakistan, and there's a protocol signed between India and Pakistan that every time in November or April, whenever Sikh community is coming from Pakistan to India, so there is a protocol, there's a bilateral protocol signed between India and Pakistan that 3,000 would come. So Ambassador and ladies and gentlemen, the panel sitting in here, so let me share it with you. This time, more than 7,000 applied that we want to come to Pakistan. And for being government and Pakistan official, it was a very difficult time how to say no to the Sikh community, because they have their feelings and they want to come to Pakistan. So what we did, we overruled all the protocols and allowed them to go to Pakistan. And we gave visa to 6,700 Indians to come to Pakistan, the Sikh Yatris, and pay homage to all the Gurdwaras. So they came to Pakistan in April 2025, and they spent 10 days over there. So let me tell you the real history, because I was with them for the last 10 days when they were here. And when they were going back, there were tears in their eyes. And they were too much touchy, they were too much emotional, and they became the ambassador of Pakistan after seeing and observing the hospitality of the Pakistani people, the love coming from the people of Pakistan. Wherever they go, people would say, don't give money to us, we will not charge you because you're our caste. So once they go back, they become the ambassador of Pakistan. That is the real Pakistan. And in numbers, if you see, the Sikh community is not too high. The number is very small. It is not more than 10,000 across the country. But Sikh community living in Pakistan clearly says and categorically says that we are the one who are the privileged. Because the people of Pakistan, the state of the Pakistan, whosoever is in the government of Pakistan would give us respect and love. And the policy of the state is, the policy of the Pakistan, the state of Pakistan is that we have to secure, and we will secure the minorities living in Pakistan. Being a minister of minorities, on the very first day, when the Chief Minister of Punjab, Maryam Nawaz, took oath and gave a speech in the Punjab Parliament, she categorically said that minorities are our pride, and my government's commitment and pledge is to serve the minorities and give them a message that they feel safe and secure in Pakistan. I can see people from different diplomatic background, embassies. I can see Fanny from the Canadian High Commission, so many others. So she visited my office. So we have a proper document laid on strategic plan, which clearly depicts what exactly we will be doing with the minorities living in Punjab and particularly in Pakistan. But because Kartarpur has its own significance, and in 2019 or early 2020, so maybe I missed the exact date, the UN Secretary General visited Pakistan and he went to Kartarpur. And he paid homage to Kartarpur, and he stayed there for more than 3 hours. And while he was coming back, he gave a media talk and he said, I would not say this is a Kartarpur corridor. It is a peace corridor between in Pakistan. And here in this place, in Kartarpur, I can see people from different religion sitting in one place. Because if you go and visit the Kartarpur, you would see people from the Christian faith, they are the one who are head chef and cooking food for everyone. So they're serving food for everyone. You will find the Muslims serving in the common kitchen and serving whosoever is coming to Kartarpur Sahib. Likewise, you will meet with the Hindu community doing their worship according to their own faith. Likewise, because Sikh, it's for the Sikh. So Sikh, you will find Sikh there. So this is how we are promoting interfaith harmony, tolerance, coexistence. And the policy of the Pakistan is promote social cohesion, coexistence, serving the minorities while we're living in Pakistan. That is our value. So it's not something that it's just a stated statement or it's just written on in the paper or written in the books. The reality is the true image of the country is that everyone whosoever is a citizen of state, we work together, we promote interfaith harmony, and we love our minorities. Last but not the least, from the very first day when this happened and India blamed Pakistan, particularly this false flag operation which happened in Pahalgam, Kashmir. So I have my sympathies. I condemn that act. It should not happen because Pakistan would condemn each and every step which is taken against the fundamental rights of the people of any place, any country. So that is what we did. And I appreciate statements coming from the federal government, from federal ministers, statement coming from the people of Pakistan. And I appreciate statement coming from the Sikh community across the world who supported Pakistan's initiative of the peace. But the reality is, whatever has happened in Canada, it was not Pakistan, it was India. Why the state of the United States blamed India that you're coming to the United States and doing terrorist attempts in the United States? It's not Pakistan, it's India. So why every time India would blame the Pakistan? And for the Sikh, like for the Muslims, because majority of people sitting in front of me, they are from the Muslim faith. For you people, Makkah and Medina is the place you would love to go again and again there, and you have your you can say feelings for that for that Makkah and Medina. Likewise, for me and for the Sikh community, the Pakistan is Makkah and Medina for us, and every Sikh would love to come to Pakistan. So if anything goes wrong, with the Pakistan, certainly my feelings, my emotions would hurt, and I will be supporting Pakistan's peace initiative. So once again, thank you very much. If you have any question pertinent to the interfaith harmony or the minority rights in Pakistan, but once we are going back, so take my words that there's a pledge of the people of Pakistan, there's a pledge from the government of Punjab, there's a pledge from the government of Pakistan that minority is our pride, and we will serve the minority, and interfaith harmony, coexistence, social cohesion is our core value. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent. The words all coming from the heart, as Minister Ramesh Singh always does. He speaks from the heart, and he's very categorical. He doesn't mince any words. And that is what we really like about him. And as you've seen, he's elaborated upon how the Sikh community is living, peacefully, happily, and we are being looked after very well in Pakistan. We would like to have more Sikh brothers and sisters visit us, of course, and whatever we can do in Pakistan to make their stay comfortable, we definitely will. Thank you, Minister. I would now invite Mr. Rajkumari. Mr. Rajkumari, you don't really know, but I would share that I knew my mistress' father. I was, many years ago, I was posted to Brazil, and he used to be the ambassador in Argentina, and we used to converse over the phone regularly. A great man, I used to read his short stories as well, man of letters, a man of intellect, and, I think your being here is a tribute to your great father. So I will now hand over the floor to you.
Assalamu alaikum and good morning to Minister of Religious and Interfaith Harmony, and thank you. Yeah, I think, yes, short. To Ambassador Johar Salim, President of International Regional Studies, to give me the chance to come as a panelist and speak a few words of Buddhism. I am Rajkumari Troya Tribini Roy, daughter of late Raja Tridib Roy, who was the president of Buddhist Society and Minister of Tourism and Minister of Minorities and Ambassador of Pakistan to Argentina for 12 years. He received the Sri Lankan Ranjana Award from the President of Sri Lanka on behalf of government of Pakistan. He was a true patriot of Pakistan. He sacrificed his kingdom and his people for Pakistan. As I was living with him and assisting him, I learned a lot about politics, about Buddhism, and attended different conferences from different countries led by different people and different faith. Also attended lots of different conferences by Interfaith and Harmony. As a Buddhist by birth, I believe that every religion teaches us to be a good human being and live with harmony and peace. Our faith can be different, but our goal is the same. I'm living in Pakistan for such a long time. My personal experiences here as a Buddhist, I felt safe and welcomed. Just recently, we had a huge delegation from Thailand. His venerable monk stayed 3 months in Taxila and traveled all over Pakistan. And I had the privilege to write about Buddhism in Pakistan in his book, the book called The Buddhist Civilization of Gandhara by Aryo Vangsa. And learned a lot from this book. As my father used to say, we never stop learning till we die. There is so much to learn. Pakistan is a cradle of Buddhism. We have so many heritage, such as Gandhara civilization, the first Buddha in Lahore. In Buddha, Lord Buddha said to follow his teachings, not to worship him, not to make a statue, but just to follow his teaching. Every religion have a book. So the book always has, like in my Prabhupada said, the 10 commands in Christianity. In Buddhism, we have 5 concepts that are followed by the layman or a normal people to be a good human being. I believe every religion teaches us to be a good human being and to do good to the others, to help each other and live in peace and harmony. But unfortunately, nowadays, when you hear the news, when you see the world, what's happening, it's very sad. Also, I have to say that today what happened is very, very sorry. And we are very sad what's happening with Pakistan and India. Nobody wants war. Nobody wants to live in a world what's becoming nowadays. So I think for all of us, we have to be together and try to change this world to a better world. As a human being in Buddhism, we say that nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. So why so wars? Why so ego? Why so power? All this, one day we are not going to take it. We're going to die and we can't take anything with us. Only things we can stay here is our good deeds for the mankind, for this world. As we say everything changes in this world, we can say nowadays global warming. The world is changing, but can we stop it? Yes, as a human being, we can stop it if we try it. So to try to change, I think we have to start from us. Each individual has each responsibility. We are born to this world with nothing and will die with nothing. So if you do good deeds, good will happen to you. If you do bad deeds, bad will happen to you. It's the circle of life. Buddha was born in a royal family as a prince. He had everything what a human being would love to have and be happy, but he was not happy. He went out of the palace and he found three things that made him think. First was a man who was suffering of illness. Second thing he saw was a old man. And third was a person who just passed away and the family were crying. So he came back to the palace and he thought, I have to find the path, how to overcome all these sufferings. But the king, his father, didn't want him to go in this path. So he tried to make him stay at home and become a king like him and rule his kingdom. So he married him off and had a child whose name was Rahul. But nothing kept him with this attachment. And he found out that small attachment is more difficult. So he left the palace and went to find the enlightenment, so-called nirvana. Nirvana for us means that there's no birth again and all the sufferings will disappear, because when we are born, we start with sufferings and we die with sufferings. He did find his enlightenment, as we call nirvana, but he said, anybody who ever wants to become a Buddha or enlightened, if you follow my path, you can. Nothing is impossible. Every human being are the same. So from my conferences here and so many other conferences I had, I think, as my counterpart said, in Pakistan, as a Buddhist, I'm living here, I find that Hindus are there, Sikhs are there, Bhayas are there, Buddhists are there, and we're living in harmony and peace. We respect each other. We visit, we do Eid, we do Holi, we do Easter. So I think, why not? If we all together live with harmony and peace under one country, under one chad, as we say in Urdu, we can show the world that we can live in harmony and peace in Pakistan, and we are doing that. And I'm very privileged to say Pakistan is a cradle of Buddhism. So we have to show the Buddhist world that so much heritage we have, they have to come and learn and see. So I'm also helping to find Buddhism tourism because they don't know what they're missing. And Pakistan, we are very, very grateful because we are very privileged that we have Gandhara civilization and so much to learn and to bring people from all over the world to come and see. I thank everybody, especially my distinguished panelists who came from far away, and all my panelists who said beautiful speeches, and we learned a lot from you all. And we hope and think that we should be always together and try to help and try to live in peace and harmony. And thank you so much, the audience, even though today was a day that we were very scared, but all of you gave your time and value to come to listen to us. Thank you, all the audiences. And thank you, my friends who came to support me. And thank you so much. And thanks again, Zohar Saab, for giving me the chance. Thank you.
Great words by Ms. Rajkumari. Befitting tribute to his late father, to her late father, who, by the way, had hundreds of thousands of, like a tribe of hundreds of thousands of who he was the head. And he left all that and he came to Pakistan, and till his last breath, he served Pakistan in so many different capacities. It's amazing and very powerful how all different communities in Pakistan, whether they are Buddhist, Sikh, Hindus, Christians, and I must say, Mr. Johnson, as I might have mentioned before, in Pakistan, the good work that Christian churches have done in Pakistan in setting up these missionary schools and hospitals, we're testament to that. I went to a Catholic school as a child, and some of the best schools in those times used to be all these Christian schools. One of the best colleges in Lahore still is the former Christian College, which is run by a Presbyterian church. So all the good deeds that the faiths can do for each other help in enhancing the harmony and the affection for and the respect for each other, which actually we need in the world more and more today. With these words, I will now invite Professor Sikandar for a very quick overview. Professor Sikandar has been very much involved in so many intellectual exercises and has a special liking and penchant for work related to promotion of interfaith harmony. Professor Sikandar, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ambassador Salim, for giving me this opportunity to present my views here as well. I'm an academic, so I tend to be critical at times, and please see this as constructive criticism of Pakistan's sort of performance when it comes to implementing its international obligations dealing with religious freedoms. But also I feel, I'm a big follower of interfaith harmony. And the reason is what Elder Johnson was talking about. A lot of it comes from your upbringing, and family values. I actually come from a village, small village, which is about 2 kilometers from Nankana Sahib. It's called Nabipur. And so I have been brought up in an environment where I realize that a country, a community, a family, then a community and a country becomes stronger when you have intercommunal and interfaith harmony. And I think what the Indian aggression and the use of unlawful force has done in a way is heartens me to see that we as a country, as a people, are coming together and realizing that, and that's the strength for Pakistan really. I think that if we are stronger from within, then I don't think any outside force can in the long term undermine our freedom or our sovereignty. So again, as I said, the presentation I have is a bit critical, but bear with me. I'm a professor of human rights, and I tend to look at things in a constructive, in a way that we can improve. A lot of it is aspirational. The topic of my discussion today is, and I'll keep it very brief, is how religion, business, and human rights interlink with each other. These ideas, these ideologies, and how by promoting religious freedom from a business perspective, from looking at the business as a unit, Pakistan can progress as a country. So a lot of this is legal, so please bear with me, but it's important to also talk about those legal concepts and principles, as well as our obligations under international law. So religious freedom is a fundamental human rights. Religious freedom is not just a fundamental human right, it's also an economic issue. Pakistan's human rights obligation under international law require it to uphold religious freedom not just as a civil right, but also in the business sector. Practically speaking, there is discrimination in employment, business ownership, and trade regulations in Pakistan that create economic inequality for religious minorities and limits Pakistan's financial potential. So the real challenge is that we have to overcome is, can Pakistan balance religious freedom, economic development, and international legal commitments? In terms of some of the legal issues that are faced by religious minorities in Pakistan, we are looking at domestic laws affecting religious and economic rights. For example, family law is based on religion in this country. All religions are not legislated for. Many do not enjoy formal marriage registration and divorce, for example. In terms of in the corporate context, there are some sectors have hidden in the corporate sector religious restrictions. In employment, minorities face barriers to employment. Also, minorities are unable to enjoy full economic rights when it comes to, because of unclear inheritance laws. So there are a lot of, I guess, legal gaps that have to be, addressed. And the good news is, as Pakistan has a lot of legal protections that exist on paper, but the bad news is enforcement. The state does very little to prevent also abductions and other forms of violence sometimes committed against which target minorities. Court rulings have been quite progressive, have upheld minority rights, but practical implementation still is a challenge. In terms of economic barriers for religious minorities in Pakistan, specifically looking at different sectors, the workplace, there's workplace discrimination. Despite job quotas for minorities existing in Pakistan, they are not fully implemented. More importantly, because of the fact that any big country like Pakistan has a robust and vibrant private sector, there are social and institutional biases preventing minorities from leadership role in the corporate private sector. Also, sometimes, as we know, for minority businesses are affected because of I would say allegations used inappropriately that don't have any basis in reality. In terms of Pakistan's, and this is where I think it's important to retain some of this because these are international commitments. Pakistan both has domestic legal obligations towards religious freedoms and interfaith harmony, but also international obligations. In terms of international obligations, I would just want to sort of highlight some of these relevant international provisions that are both treaty law and also customary law principles. You have the UDHR to start off with, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Article 18 talks about and discusses freedom of religion. Article 23 codifies right to work. You have this Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is customary law, becomes treaty law through the passage of two very important international human rights conventions that are considered to be the Bill of Human Rights in the International Bill of Human Rights. One is the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. The other one is the International Covenant on Socioeconomic and Cultural Rights. And Pakistan has ratified both these conventions. Article 18 of also the ICCPR, the acronym for the Convention dealing with civil and political rights, recognizes the freedom of thought, conscience, and religion. Article 27 of minority protection. The ICESCR, Article 6, again realizes the right to work. Article 7, fair wages. And Article and also equal treatment. Then Pakistan has ratified numerous thematic international law treaties, such as the Convention on the Elimination of Racial Discrimination, CERD, the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, the Convention on the Rights of the Child, and the Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. All of these conventions, explicitly outline obligations that relate to prevention of discrimination and also guarantee equal access to economic and other forms of human rights. Pakistan has also has a particular status with the EU, for example, the Generalized System of Preferences Plus status, which also require us to comply with our human obligations to maintain the status, and part and parcel of that is to protect religious minorities and other freedoms. Okay. Because of lack of time, I just want to quickly summarize. There are also UN guidelines, the UN guidelines on business and human rights that are particularly focused on providing and realizing the human rights of business human rights of communities and businesses, and also that engulfs religious minorities. In terms of Pakistani law, it's important because we are Pakistanis to look at what guarantees the religious minorities' freedoms. and promote interfaith harmony. Article 20 of our Constitution talks about freedom of rights and religious practice. Article 21 is safeguards against taxation for purposes of any particular religion. Article 22, safeguards as to educational institutions in respect of religion. Article 25, equality of citizens, no discrimination on religious basis. And Article 36 explicitly is focused on protection of minorities. There have been a legislative reform in Pakistan and constitutional reform, but again, as my fellow colleague was pointing out, that we also need to deal with social justice and address these issues at the communal and at the social level. I have prepared something, but because of lack of time, I will not go into that. But I do want to talk about one particular legislative action that is extremely important. I was promising was a judgment came out in 2014 which is known as the Jilani judgment, it talks about practical measures that this country has to take. Then Chief Justice of Pakistan, Tasadduq Jilani, passed a judgment which laid out certain directives that we need to absorb. I think if you look at these directives, this is about practical implementation of promoting religious freedoms and interfaith harmony. One was the establishment of a National Council for Minorities to act as a watchdog for rights of minorities. Two was curriculum reform, promoting tolerance and creating materials for religious learning for minority students. Three, the government had the responsibility to protect places of worship. Four, implementation of existing job quotas in the public sector. Fifth is sensitivity training for law enforcement, and eventually establishing a task force to monitor and ensure implementation of the judgment. So these are things that we have to legally under our legal system implement, and this is more about implementation than just a source of law. And I think these are the things that we need to implement. And I think we have to an extent failed to do that because there continues to be lack of protection for religious minorities in this country. And it is our responsibility as a community, as a family, and as a country to realize these objectives. I apologize. I just kind of spoke a little bit more than I was supposed to. But anyways, I thought the message is there. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity.
Minister Ramesh Singh Arora just wants to say a comment on that.
Just one quick comment. Being a minister for minorities, being a rep of government of Punjab, Sikandar sir, I offer you come to my office, do visit me, because this is our pledge that we will support our minority, whatever legislation, because let me tell you, there are certain things we have done during last 1 year. We have approved, the cabinet has approved Sikh Marriage Act, which is first ever in the history of Pakistan, and Pakistan became the first country across the world where we do have such legislation, personal law from the Sikh community. In India, the Sikh community is still registering the marriages under Hindu Marriage Act, but in Pakistan, we are the one who has given this personal law to the Sikh community, so Sikh marriages are registered under Hindu Sikh Marriage Act. Likewise, we do have legislation for the Hindu Marriage Act. So in Punjab, we do have Hindu Marriage Act. So both the Marriage Registration Act are approved. Likewise, recently the Chief Minister of Punjab has given 50,000 minority cards to the minorities. So whatever you're talking about, the enforcement, now in Punjab, we do have Minority Advisory Council. The Government of Pakistan, the Senate has approved National Commission Minority Bill. So we are going to in place it. So likewise, our government is committed. There's a pledge from the government side. We will serve our minorities. So whatever you are recommending, so do visit my office. And I assure you that we work for the minorities. This is our government's plan. Thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. I will now request President IRS Ambassador Johar Salim to pay a vote of thanks and present our esteemed guest with the souvenirs.
We had a wonderful session, and with our delegates from the US representing Christian community, Ms. Rajkumari representing Buddhist community, Minister Ramesh Singh Arora representing Sikh community, Minister Kesu Mao representing Hindu community in Pakistan, and of course our dear old Professor Sikandar Saab representing the the majority community in Pakistan. But if you noticed, you know, the biggest criticism came from the, you know, like Professor Sikandar, because you see, because that shows how much we want to do, you know, and we have, our standards are very high, you know, what we want to do. Although compared to many other countries, what we have in Pakistan is perhaps, you know, idyllic. But still, the quest to be even better, the quest to ensure, I mean, you know, and the challenges that we have, they're not just for, you know, in terms of religious communities, they are in terms of gender, sort of discrimination as well. They are in terms of sort of, you know, like urban, rural populations as well. You know, developing countries do have a lot of challenges. But the important thing is that if you have the will to you know, and if you have the sort of, you know, not just the political will, but also if you have the dedication and the diligence to work in that direction, then things get better and better. And that's where we are. We are on a positive trajectory, and we should be proud of that. With these words, I'd like to thank you all. I'd like to thank the esteemed delegates again for such an amazing session, which sort of, you know, goes on to show how much we care about interfaith harmony in Pakistan. I thank you all.
Now there's going to be a presentation of mementos by the President, starting off with Mr. Ramesh Singh Arora, Provincial Minister for Religious Affairs and Interfaith Harmony. Mr. Kelly Johnson, representative of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Ms. Rajkumari, a renowned Vedic scholar. Dr. Sikandar Shah, Director LUMS. I now request the panel to please gather on stage for a group photograph. Along with this session organizers, I thank you all for your participation. We now invite you to join us for lunch.